All right, what is going on, you guys? I'm just chilling. So today we are going to be getting straight into it. We're going to be talking about the 2020 Volkswagen Jetta R-Line. Maybe you're looking to buy one. We're going to go over pretty much everything I can think of with the car. We're going to go drive the car. We're going to show you guys the car. A lot of people have been commenting about this car. I'm glad that I've been able to provide some sort of content and information for you guys that are curious on purchasing one of these cars. I've seen a lot of people say that they'd like to trade in their Jetta S for an R-Line. So let's start talking about some things. Let's get straight into it. But before we do fully, I want to thank you guys so much for the support recently on the channel. If you're not subscribed, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn notifications. As you guys can see, for some reason, we're just dropping in subscribers, but I have been excited to see that more and more of you guys are turning on those notifications. So if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. It goes such a long way. I mean, 85% of you guys are not subscribed. From the last 28 days of people who watch the videos, you're not subscribed. All you gotta do is click that button and hit that bell. All right, guys, so we are currently in the 2020 Jetta R-Line. So some of the things that I wanna just straight up get to right off the bat is the things we're gonna be talking about in today's video. So basically, this video is for people who are in the market for one of these cars. So one of the things that I wanna mention is pretty much the price point I got this car at, and pretty much the advice I would recommend if you're looking for one of these cars. So during the whole pandemic thing, which is essentially happening again with the relief package, so there could be more rebates, more deals going on. This car is a 2020. This is applying to the 2020s. I'm not sure as far as 2021s, but just check your local dealerships. But basically, this car had a bunch of rebates, and they also offered 0% financing if you qualified. I qualified, which is what ended me up in this car. So, check those things first. That's obviously going to get you your best deal, which makes getting into this car that much more easier, faster, and exciting. So, talking about some of the features of this R-Line. So, as you guys can see here, we have this beautiful leather-wrapped, flat-bottom steering wheel with the R-Line logo right there. Very simple gauge cluster. Nice, simple layout, clean, love it. Also, this specific car is a 6-speed manual transmission. You can get an automatic as well, but I opted for the 6-speed manual. It was just a preference. So for those of you people who are out there looking, maybe you'd like a manual, you can get a manual in the R-Line, which is awesome. I love it. It's one of those selling points for me because I always have been driving stick, and I was looking to get back into another stick vehicle, and they just so happened to make this with a 6-speed manual. So as you guys can tell, we have some snow on the road. So if you do live in an inclement area, basically I want to show you guys some of the cool features, in my opinion, that this car has to offer. So right over here, we have a button for the heated steering wheel and the heated seat. It is a combo. So as soon as you activate that, it'll turn that on, which is absolutely awesome. You have 3 settings for your seats. Same thing on the passenger side, and the steering wheel is just one temperature. So even if you have this on the lowest, it'll still be on. Another cool thing you can do is you can actually access these things right here in the menu. You can turn on your heated steering wheel. You can turn up the climate controls. It's just one of those features that for some people this may be nice, whether you have a passenger or you just prefer to use the touchscreen display instead of all of the buttons that are also located down here. Another thing that I would like to shed some light on while you're driving the car is you do have a driving mode button right down here to switch between eco and normal driving. I really don't notice much of a difference. Obviously, as far as performance goes, right now we are in normal mode. I'm not sure what that activates, but obviously eco mode is going to give you a more conservative driving mode and resulting in better fuel mileage. I've been averaging, usually on highway trips over 40 miles to the gallon, sometimes 42, but usually between 39 and 40 on highway driving. Another feature that you guys will see is if you look up here in the top right of this display, you can see a number 4. That is the gear that I am in. It'll pretty much recommend you when to shift. It kind of has a shift light built in if you do get a manual. So as you can see, as I'm giving it more gas here, it's going to recommend, depending on RPMs, that I shift to 5th gear. As you can see there, once you shift, it'll also let you know once the clutch is released what gear you're in. I'm downshifting right now. 4th gear, 3rd gear. To me, that's just one of those cool features that, again, I enjoy. It's one of those things where if you're focusing on your fuel economy, as I do, because that was my whole purpose of getting this car, is to really see how much money I save on fuel and just trying to get the best fuel economy that I can. That's one of those things that is built into this car. If you did get a manual, obviously if you got an automatic, you're not gonna have to worry about that. It's gonna do the best shifting for you, especially if you're in eco mode. So I think that eco mode mainly is gonna play a bigger effect with an automatic, because it's gonna be shifting for you, especially if you're just driving normally, versus I can wind out gears or short shift to change any of that stuff. But let's move on to some of the interior stuff about this car that I still want to talk about yet, some of the outside stuff, and let me give you guys my 100% honest opinion on this car for anybody that may be in the market for one. Okay, so now that we've parked the car, let's talk about some of the stuff that is in the interior of this car. And another thing I just want to say is this video is going to pretty much apply for the R-Line as well as the Jetta S, because they are essentially the same car. The only upgrade you're getting on the R-Line is some bells and whistles as far as technology and a little bit of interior. But essentially, as far as performance, comfortability, drivability of this car, it's going to apply to the Jetta S as well. And as far as drivability and stuff, it may even apply to an extent to the GLI, but I can't talk on the GLI at all. I have not driven one. We're mainly going to be talking, this is mainly going to be applying to the R-Line and the S. Okay, so quick overview of the interior. Don't mind the mess. I'm a 22-year-old guy. I try to keep this thing as clean as possible, but I had some errands and stuff to run today. So as you guys can see here, this is your dash layout. If you have a manual, if not, your shifter's still going to be here. As you guys can see, we have the two-tone seats with the nice black. I mean, it is truly awesome. So one of my favorite things is back here, you actually have heated seats for the rear, which I've never seen in a passenger car. These back seats heat up. That's awesome. Now that's something I've only really seen on SUVs, not really in a car. For me, it doesn't matter. I don't have children and most people don't ride in the back seat of my car, but if they do and it's cold, example, this past Saturday, I had people back there. They loved that. They loved it so much. It was awesome. So let's just do a quick outside view of the car. We'll show you some more interior stuff, and then we will break down and I will give you guys kind of like a rating on how I feel about this car as far as comfortability, reliability, fuel economy, drivability, and safety. We're going to be talking about those 5 things. I'll be giving you guys kind of a score between them all. And like I said, you can apply this to the R-Line as well as the Jetta S. I'm going to try to wrap this up as quick as possible because we do have some wind. As you can tell, the car is filthy, so don't mind that. As you can see, we are dealing with some weather. But basically, I opted for the white. It's just, I love white cars so much. And basically what you get on this is you get these 17-inch wheels. They come in this awesome gray. I think it sets a good contrast. I believe these cars are offered in white, black, red, and gray. I could be missing a color, but there's only a few color options for it. So check into some of that stuff. So basically you get black mirrors, a black roof, which is actually an awesome sunroof. We'll be showing you guys that. The black shark fin antenna, as well as a black grille with the R-Line badge. So it does look very aggressive, very awesome styling. I absolutely love the way that this car looks. I think it's nice and aggressive. Now, if it were me, I would like to see 18s on this, not 17s. But you know, that's something we can change. I know someone that actually put 19s on one of these without lowering it, and the wheel gap was still there, but they do make suspension and stuff for that, so maybe that's something we can look into. But yeah, you get all these black accents, these cool wheels, and truthfully, an awesome interior. Like I said, don't mind the mess of mine too much. I just wanted to be able to bring you guys some content as I get a lot of comments on it. Also, in my opinion, the taillights are super cool looking, as well as the headlights. LED. You also have fog lights, and one of the coolest features is if you turn on your turn signal or you turn your wheel a certain amount of degree, whatever side you're turning to, let's just say you're making a left turn, the left fog light will illuminate brighter to, even if you have your fog lights off, that way you can see better when you're turning, which is one of those features I absolutely love. And really at this point, I'm so used to, I'd have to get another car after this that has that feature. Again, a lot of crap because I'm currently moving a lot of stuff. But as you guys can see, we have a massive trunk, which is a key factor for me. All right, and while we're here, nothing crazy, but here is the 1.4 liter turbo. As you guys can see, very simple, very clean. There is no engine cover on this car. But here, this is the engine, in case you guys wanted to see that. Again, nothing crazy. I believe like 147 horsepower and 170 torque. But yeah, so this is what we're working with, the 1.4 liter turbo. So basically, overall, I'm going to break some things down for you guys. As far as comfortability goes, I'm going to give this car a solid 10 out of 10. You have very minimal road noise. It's not bumpy. It's very quiet inside the car, very smooth, even with the manual transmission. So for me, the comfortability of a car that I drive every single day really means a lot. So this car, I'm gonna give a 10 out of 10 comfortability. Seats are comfortable, driving position's comfortable. Overall, driving the car every day, I've had zero issues. Moving on to the reliability of this car. So far, 10 out of 10, and we are currently at, I believe, almost 8,200 miles. As you guys can see here, we have a little message that says oil change service due. That's something I'd also like to talk to you guys about. So the first service is recommended at 10,000 miles, but I think it goes off of a date. And for a little bit, like maybe a couple of weeks, I was not driving the car as much. So I think it was going off of a date to recommend that oil change. But I'm actually gonna be making a video on the first service and the services that you should do on this car. If you guys would like to see that, drop a comment below, because I think that's super important for people who either own one of these or are about to own one. Now, the safety, again, I have not gotten in an accident, but overall this car does feel very safe. It has tons of monitors, front monitors, rear. You have blind spot monitoring. This is the first car I've owned that has that. It's super essential for, you know, some of those blind spots. You are in a longer car. This isn't exactly a small car, but it's not exactly a large car either, but it is kind of long. So having that, again, goes that extra mile with the safety. So again, the drivability of this car, this one specifically being a manual, very easy. You have such a light clutch. It's truthfully extremely light. As you guys can hear that squeak, that's something you may want to consider if you are getting a manual. I'll put a video card here on the screen. This happens and it's annoying. But anyway, you have a light clutch, very smooth shifting gears, nice weighted shift knob. The drivability is super easy. If you're in an automatic, it should be just as easy to drive, if not way easier. But yeah, drivability, 10 out of 10. So lastly, let's get into the fuel economy. So if we go into our menu settings under vehicle, since refuel, I've been averaging at 33.4 miles to the gallon. That's with 131 miles on the trip at an average speed of 21 miles an hour. As you guys can see, I have not done a lot of highway driving. This has mainly been all back roads. This is where you can also, under the settings here, you can turn off your traction control, which really doesn't do a whole lot. I've tried doing a burnout in this car, to be totally honest, and good luck trying to do that. You can set tire pressure monitoring, all that stuff. I haven't, to be totally honest. I probably should. This is where you can have multiple drivers, guests for, you know, Bluetooth and all that stuff. There are tons of different settings to scroll through, but we're going to be focusing mainly on the fuel economy aspect of this. So you have since refuel, you have since start, you have long term, which we're averaging, that's calculating 2,000 miles. We're averaging at pretty much 36 miles to the gallon. Like I said, I've been doing a lot more back road driving, not so much highway. But fuel economy, for me, to be totally honest with you guys, is going to be a 9 out of 10. Now, I know what you're thinking. How come it's not a 10 out of 10? I think that this car does better fuel mileage with an automatic. So for that specific reason, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10, because with most cars today, I've seen very similar, if not some higher, for the price point, depending on what kind of car you get. We're trying to compare this to other market cars as well. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. If you get an automatic, it could be a 10 out of 10 for you. This could be a 10 out of 10 for you for anything, or if you're coming from like an electric car or a hybrid, this could suck. But I just wanted to go over some of those things for you and give you guys my opinion. And with that being said, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. I just want to say, if you're looking for a stylish, fuel efficient, reliable, comfortable car, I truthfully recommend the 2020 or 2021 Jetta R-Line. I have zero regrets buying it. I love this car. Like I said, we're cresting that 10,000 mileage mark. If you guys would like to see a video on these services, please leave a comment below. Also, comment below any questions, comments, or concerns you guys have. I love answering the questions. I love helping. I'm trying to give you guys the most honest opinion of this car. I am not a car reviewer, but this is just what it's like for me driving the car every day. Truthful recommendation. Every time a friend asks me, hey, I'm looking to get a new car, but I don't want to spend a lot of money, what should I buy? I'm like, dude, I bought this Jetta and I love it. So with that being said, the next video I'm going to attempt to do with this car, hopefully will be on Christmas Day. We're supposed to get some snow. As you guys saw, we have snow, but basically I didn't drive the car in the snow. I didn't get the opportunity to, but that is something I would like to do Who wants to see a proper snow test in the Jetta R-Line? Drop a comment below. Make sure you subscribe, turn on those notifications so you do not miss that video, because regardless, we are doing that. Whether we don't get snow on Friday, the next time we get snow and it's enough on the streets, we are gonna go try and get this thing stuck, essentially. I have no problem doing that to see how far we can push the car. Obviously, I don't wanna crash the car or anything like that, but we are gonna test it properly in the snow. So if you would like to see that, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and also if this video helped you out in any way, drop a like and leave a comment. I'm looking forward to seeing who ends up with one of these cars, and I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video.